waiting on a few board meetings. We just finished our executive session. So thank you. I know we don't have any audience here tonight, but I'm talking to the audience that have, as we know, we are on. There you go. Okay, Okay, good evening. I'd like to open the Penn Trafford School District School Board meeting with the opening of the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you very much. At this time, we'd like to have a report by Mr. Bill Enders. Anyone reporting on the superintendent's committee meeting for the IU? I don't know if Mr. Downs.
Mr. Leonard apparently is not available.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Petrucci, would you be able to give us
Yes, I would.
information tonight?
We met on March 4th, and a few things here. We made a payment, our 15-year payment of bond issues, $543,000, if you recall. Yeah, wait, take it off?
I'll move over here.
Okay, I'm glad you do that.
I'm just saying, I don't think he can hear you.
Thank you. I agree with that, but I don't want to break anybody's rules either. Okay, all right, we made a payment of $543,000, a 15-year plan, if you recall. That was our $6 million loan we got to restore the building, about 5 years ago, I'd say. No, that's about accurate, 5 years. Okay, and now I'll go to the minutes. We updated the merger program, different cross-curricular projects and assignments that are taking place, updated the equipment operating, being integrated into construction, trades, and industry, updated the new storage building that is being built, based on potential of the larger enrollment which we expect to be coming up. There is a need for further discussion on how we are going to provide career and technology education to all the interested students. And we also found out that used to be school districts would cut back. We have a 4-year program there. If a kid wanted to go all 4 years, they said, no, we can't afford it, we'll send you 2, or we'll send you 3. That is unlawful. If a student wants to go 4 years, like a student wants to go 4 years here, they're entitled to 4 years. No more can they be cut short. You know, like one school close to us here did away with, a few years ago, did away with the 10th grade. No more 10th grade kids could go to career tech. That is illegal. And we forward them, so now they're gonna, well, they have to make adjustments.
We have had some ninth graders attend.
Matt, I can't hear you either, I'm sorry.
We have had some ninth graders attend in the past.
Yeah, they do good, you know. Especially your senior year, they say go put on jobs and they make regular wages.
I'm sorry, I was distracted a little bit there. The summary of that, they can go 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, they have option to go one or all.
Yeah, yes.
And it didn't used to be that way, you had to go all.
They had to go, oh yeah, but it used to be, that is correct. Of course, they can withdraw, Dallas. The kid wants to
Yes.
withdraw, they can withdraw. But the thing is school districts that, well, there's one real close, and I said, they only said you can only go 2 years, your junior and senior year, because they wanted to save money by not paying for tuition for 9th and 10th grades.
I wish I'd have known that, I'd have been beefing about that, because
Yep.
that VOTEC stuff's good stuff.
Yeah, no, it's super stuff. But no, it's, but no, now they know that any school districts, they can no longer have cost cutting.
We
towards-
never did that, right?
No,
I
no.
just said we had a couple ninth graders attend in the past.
Yeah, that was their option,
Yeah,
Odell.
but they weren't told they could.
No, that's right. They were not told the program, that's correct. Okay, we are working together with the conjunction with the building and ground supervisor to see what updates on capital improvements must be needed prior to the end of the school year and vital systems that they might have. I was really involved with this next one here. There are 4 students involved in the CDL classes that began February 22nd. The next class is March 15th, and I made sure that, I didn't know now, you can do hazmat on the internet. you do the test on the internet. Of course, you get theology certificates on the internet too, so I guess you could do that. But also multiple trailers, also get that on your permit, CDL, makes you a lot more valuable. And state inspection for seniors, automotive technology, class will begin, it did begin, March the 8th. And next year, so far, I'll have more on this. Primary enrollments, the numbers that have increased. Penn Trafford is 5th. We have 52. Number 1 is Hempfield. Number 2 is, who's number 2 at here, Nick? Norwin. Number 3 is, believe it or not, York. And we're number 4. I'm sorry, we're number 4. But our enrollment numbers, and thanks to you, Dr. Harris, for encouraging kids to go to career tech.
We actually have 17 more students next year attending than we did
Oh,
this year.
okay.
17 students.
I'll have a more final figure for that, final figure for you.
I already
later on
spoke
that.
to Brett about the impact on the budget too. Although it was a great opportunity, it will cost the district an additional $130,000 for those 17 kids.
It's, for those.
Very well worth it.
Money well spent.
That's right. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Petrucci.
I'm sorry there, Mr. Costo.
Prior to this meeting, around 5:45, our board met for an executive session, and today we discussed personnel matters, and the board also received information on COVID relief funding. At this time, I'd like to turn the meeting over to Dr. Harris for information.
Thank you, Mr. Matarazzo. We're going to start off with our favorite time of the month, which is the Students of the Month. In the past, we've always had the students come and be presented, but we're going to actually do it. We're still going to read their placements, and then we also put everything into the newspaper as well as the website. So, Mr. Matarazzo?
My pleasure. Penn Trafford School Board Administration are pleased to announce the April 2021 Students of the Month selections. Students are selected by their school principals for being exceptional in some way, whether for earning top grades, showing strong leadership, exhibiting kindness, or for some other notable reason. We have a 5th grade student at Sunrise Estates Elementary, Mia Mastro. She exemplifies qualities that catch the attention of school staff daily. Mia is an academically strong student with equally strong leadership skills, commented Mrs. Hawk, her 5th grade teacher. She leads by example and isn't afraid to speak up when she disagrees with something or when she doesn't understand something. Mia's manners and respectful behavior shine through on a daily basis. Mrs. Guerreri, 5th grade teacher, said, Mia is a sweet student who is always willing to help her teacher or peers. She's a hard worker and is always putting forth her best effort. Ms. Pratt, 5th grade teacher, stated, Mia is a hardworking go-getter in the classroom and a friend to all outside of the classroom. Dr. Coiner, the principal, feels that Mia is extremely well-deserving of this reward, commenting that Mia embodies the traits we look for in a student when selecting our Student of the Month. We're honored to have her represent Sunrise as Student of the Month. Now from Harrison Park, we have a 3rd grader, David Leidick. He takes extreme pride in his classwork and does everything that is asked of him. He follows direction and asks questions if he doesn't understand. He's a very polite young man. David has quiet confidence, which is very refreshing for someone his age. He's always the first one to help another student, and his kind acts are noticed by all. He's well-liked by his classmates and comes to school each day with a smile. David always has a kind greeting first thing in the morning for everyone. This is all according to Principal Mr. Jeff Schwartz. David's love for school, his family, and his friends exemplify the wonderful characteristics of being an outstanding Penn Trafford warrior. We have an 8th grade student at Trafford Middle, Olivia Clothier. Her teachers all agree that she is an excellent student and is a very compassionate, respectful, and kind person who is eager to help others, whether to assist classmates with assignments or help teachers to clean out and sanitize the desk. Olivia works hard despite the fact that her talents and intelligence could allow her to be successful without her fullest efforts. But she's an exceptional student whose work is thorough and neat and communicated effectively. Olivia is mature, communicates well with peers and adults, and is a leader by example. It's been a pleasure to have Olivia at Trafford Middle School, says Principal Roger Sullivan. Congratulations on your selection as Student of the Month, Olivia. And from our high school, a 10th grader, Jacob Baruther. Jacob began his Penn Trafford career this past fall. He did well moving into a new school and maintaining a positive attitude. Jacob quickly became an asset to the school's coffee shop. He has also taken responsibility for delivering drinks and snacks to the administration, nurse, and athletic department. Jacob works in the mailroom, sorting the staff's daily mail. He's also helpful in the classroom during activities, always wanting to lend a helping hand. Jacob was recently accepted into the logistic program at CWCTC. We just talked about that, right? He will begin in the fall of 2021. Jacob will be missed in the coffee shop, but we are sure he will be successful in this program and gain valuable experience for future employment, said Principal Tony Aquilio. Congratulations to Jacob. So those are our students of the month. Dr. Harris, I'll turn it back to you.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much, and congratulations to all the students. Next, we're going to have Mr. Ingles give us an update on the health and safety plan and tracker now that we're in the substantial phase.
Yeah, one more thing, Dr. Harris. Next month, we plan on recognizing the military as well, right?
Yes.
For May. Yeah, Mr. Aquilio, we did talk to him, and he's going to reach out to make sure we have a list of all the military students that are moving on. So that'll be a part of the Student of the Month presentation as well, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Yeah, just to update everybody, the county did move to substantial today officially for the second week in a row. And what you probably ask, well, what does that mean? What it means is we are required to follow the assertion agreement that we signed back in the fall, which basically says we will follow the state's recommendations and guidelines in terms of school closures. So if you recall, when we have a small school, like an elementary school, once you get to 2 to 4 cases, that means we must close. A medium school, which is 4 to 6 cases, we must close. And a large school, which has 7 to 10 cases, like the high school, we must close. So when you reach those thresholds, we're supposed to close the schools. But there is a little bit of a wiggle room in that we can, when we always do this anyway, we consult with the Department of Health, let them know the circumstances of the cases, and they give us guidance and direction on how to proceed and what the closure should look like. The closure is supposed to be 2 to 3 days when this happens, but I think they do give us some consideration in looking at how we do the closure based on the information provided. But we do have to follow the assertion based on that, and really don't have any choice. Then you get to some other thresholds when you have, in addition to 5 in a small school, medium is 7+, and a large school is 11+. We have to go to 5 days of closure, but hopefully we don't reach that point. We have seen a spike in the schools. The high school has seen a lot of cases before Easter, and right now the tracker is reading 4 at the high school. So if we get to 6, we may have to do something at the high school. But again, we'll consult with the Department of Health and see where we need to go. But there is concern about the cases in the county. And again, we've said this a number of times. The cases that we are seeing in the schools are not transmissions that are occurring in the schools. We have found that they are occurring at parties outside of the school, social gatherings outside of the school, in the house outside the school, or maybe at a club hockey event outside the school. So the transmissions seem to be occurring not within the school environment, but in the community. So but the other problem that we have is the quarantine issue. As an example, in the high school, when we had the cases prior to Easter, we had so many kids that were quarantined as a result of the cases that were happening. We had about 10 or 12 cases all within a week's period of time, which ended up quarantining almost 300 students. And with that amount of students, it's really hard to run an effective and efficient school when you already have about 300 that are online anyway, and you add another 300, you're basically at half capacity at the high school. So attendance has been a little better this week. Some more students have been coming, but again, the cases are starting to accumulate a little bit more in the high school as well. So we'll keep a monitor on that. Hopefully we'll get through this week, and hopefully things will be settled down. There is concern, though, about the quarantine issues when you start getting into prom and graduation, those kinds of things. And a lot of the kids that are in sports and drama and things of that nature, they're worried about getting quarantined and not being able to participate. So hopefully things get better as the vaccinations and as the number of individuals with the virus have the antibodies. Hopefully this stuff will start to die down in May and we'll get back to normal. So we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Now, Mr. Ingles, maybe just to clarify or repeat, the decision to quarantine or to close buildings is really not in the hands of our school as much as from the state. Is that correct?
That's correct. We follow all the guidelines that the Department of Health issues regarding quarantining. So if a student is within 3 feet of another student, 6 feet, we are required to quarantine. Just to clarify, the Department of Health, the CDC, put out some additional guidelines that said that kids can sit within 3 feet of each other. And that's true, they can. So our kids are able to sit within 3 feet of each other, but if they're within 6 feet of another individual and they're positive, anybody within that 6 feet area needs to quarantine. So what we have done is we've still tried to keep all of our kids as far apart as possible and keep them at 6 feet if we can. We can't do it when everybody's in the building, but we do it as much as possible. The elementaries are pretty good about it in terms of 6 feet. When you get in the middle and high school, it's very difficult for us to do that.
The reason I mention this for some, if a parent, if you get a phone call from our nurse, please don't argue with the nurse because it wasn't her decision to quarantine or not. It's something that she had been directed to by the state. Correct?
Yep. And the same thing with closures. If the Department of Health tells us to close a school, we're going to do it. You know, we don't have a choice.
Thank you.
I have a question and a comment. Number one, the comment, we now moved up to the substantial status from what was it?
We were moderate.
Moderate to substantial. I knew that, but I just wanted that for clarification. Number two, sounds like from watching this as this moves forward and listening to what's going on, it seems like the cases aren't proliferating within the schools. Schools seem like they're operating fairly safely. It seems like they're coming from outside events, kids doing whatever they're doing outside the school. So it sounds like whenever we kick them out of the school, we put them into more of the environment where the proliferation will take place to take them out of the environment that seems to be working better. Would that be a fair statement?
Mr. Leonard, that is an argument that we've kind of discussed internally, and it's kind of ironic that we're closing the schools and telling kids to go home and into the community where the virus seems to be spreading more. Sometimes things don't make sense, but we have to follow the rules that were laid out to us. We know that kids are safe in school because we distance them as much as possible, we clean, we disinfect, and we make them wear masks. Those protocols aren't necessarily in place when they're at home or at social functions, parties, and some of these other events that they're at, so.
Well, believe me, I'm not taking issue with the operational processes we're following here. I think we're doing a good job. I'm just taking a little bit of issue for discussion point with how their mandates are affecting it. They're probably making things worse for us through these mandates, would be something I might come to a conclusion of. But again, these are just comments. Thank you.
All right, I'll give you the update on some athletics. As you know, the spring sports season has started. We had a 501 registered to play in the various sports that we offer. So they're off to a good start. And Mr. Hatcher is going to give us an update next week. Of course, today most of the things were canceled due to the rain. And I know when you look at the weather this week, it doesn't look too good for most of the days, or it's off and on. So that's one thing that happens with the spring sports season. Every year, it seems like you're battling the rain. We did have the game on Friday, and it was very nice to finally do the unveiling of the bench that was dedicated to McLean Mond, who passed away last year tragically. So that was very sad. But I'm glad they finally got a chance to have that, because that was postponed two different times as well. So if you get a chance to watch one of the boys' baseball games, take a look at it. It's very nice. It's dedicated to McLean Mond. The other thing I want to share with you is the township. They dropped over a proclamation they made, and they made this for the Penn Trafford Lady Warriors, who have earned their 5th consecutive WPIAL title for our Lady Warrior field hockey team. They completed the season with an undefeated record of 15-0. And the team was able to maintain health and complete the season despite the challenges of the COVID-19. So they really wanted to recognize them. And as you remember, we did have the coach and 2 of the girls come earlier this year for the field hockey team, and it was great to honor them. But it's 5 years in a row is spectacular. So but it was nice to finally actually receive this. So I'll pass this on to the team tomorrow. In addition to the sports, if you need something to do this weekend, I would highly recommend you catch our high school musical, Working. I'll pass out the flyers to you. This is actually going to be completely done online. I was very happy to see that the students in the elementary school got a sneak peek, because usually the kids get to come up and see some of the theatrical performances by the kids, and it's really a big event. Unfortunately, due to the restrictions this year, they did have to see it live as well, but I'm still glad they got to have it, because the kids actually did a live sneak peek of some of those performances and some of the different scenes from the upcoming musical Working. This would be streamed only on the 16th and 17th. The show times are 7, 7:30, 8, 8:30, 9, 9:30, 10, 10:30, 11, and 11:30. So there's plenty of times available for you to catch it. That's the starting times. A couple of the things they did say is everything closes 10 minutes past the starting time. So you need to be at one of those times to actually see it, but it's how it's streamed. It is a cost of $20 for just the one cost for everyone who's, at your house to watch it. And I think it's going to be a really good opportunity to see how the kids were able to carry this musical out despite all the, restrictions of the COVID-19. Last year, they did this with their musical Footloose, and they did an excellent job, so I can't wait to see the musical Working. So, students do a lot of work, and they were able to do this, most of the taping in one day over our Easter break, because they really wanted to get everything done with all the different takes. So I'm very happy they were able to finish this. Because like Scott said, a lot of them were worried about being quarantined and different things like that. So I am glad that the musical is done. So please turn out and watch it. And I will be sending out an email blast once Mrs. Haberberger releases the information to me to send. So that's something to do this weekend. State testing also begins next week at the elementary and middle schools. The high school is actually set later. It's actually in May 17th and May 18th. As you know, our own state recommended not to actually do the testing this year, but the federal government declared that all states had to meet the requirements. So we are taking part in it next week. Mr. Inglaze, did you have anything that you wanted to say?
No, I think you covered it, Dr. Harris.
Okay. And in addition, finally, I'd like to read the following accomplishment. Rebecca Mills, she's a junior at Penn Trafford High School. She has been named to the Pennsylvania Music Educators Association All-State Chorus. Rebecca, she's a mezzo-soprano, submitted a recorded audition for the prestigious ensemble in early March after being named to the PMEA Direct Region Chorus. Rebecca will perform for the All-State Chorus at the 2021 PMEA or PIMA All-State, I cut this off of my thing, I'm sorry, All-State Chorus, so, and it will be streamed live, so get a chance to please watch it. I think it's a great accomplishment. I know there were 300 students across the state, so she's only one of 300 who made that accomplishment. So great job, Rebecca. And that is all I have, Mr. Matarazzo.
Okay, thank you. I apologize, did I miss about the state testing schedule? You mentioned
We've
that
already
already.
discussed it for next week.
Okay, so we're fine on that. We are going to be doing the testing.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. At this time, is there anyone else that'd like to bring anything up from the board? Any comments, questions? Okay, then, this time, 7:27, meeting will
Oh,
be.
hold on one second, Mr. Matarazzo. I'm sorry.
I'm just
Yes.
anxious, sorry about
Next, that was all for the information, but next week, we're gonna ask you to approve under athletics and extracurricular items. There won't be any items. Under budget and finance, we're gonna ask you to approve the WIU budget, approve contributions to area recreation committees, approve audited financial statements and the single audit. There won't be any items under buildings and grounds and safety, nor employees relations, negotiations, transportation. Under food service, we're gonna ask you to renew Aramark contract. Under personnel and curriculum, we're gonna ask you to approve the personnel agenda, accept retirements, authorize to administration to request Act 80 days. Under policy, public relations, legislative Title II, we're gonna ask you to give the final approval to board policies and admin regulations. Tentatively approve board policy. Appoint the WIU board representative. Under taxes, insurance, census, we're gonna ask you to exonerate tax collectors. And that moves us to recognition of visitors, which is back to you, Mr. Matarazzo.
Thank you. Back on script. there are no visitors here tonight, but we just want to encourage, if anybody would like to come as a visitor to address the board, you must, when you do come, you state your name, address, and group affiliation. It's very important that you call ahead so that we know that someone's going to be coming and to help you be prepared to come in through.
To be a visitor, please, you have to email Colleen Cully at cullyc@penntrafford.org, and we do have that information on the website. The reason we do the, this practice is because of the number of restrictions for the room.
Very good. So again, we encourage people to be more than welcome to come. We hope that you're watching us online, so we are here, and we thank you. So at this time, it's 7:29, call for an adjournment. Do I need a motion to call? It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion, review? Yeah? All those in favor of returning? Better do it.